Human history, human existence, it's a story of good enoughs. And good enough survives. So in our evolution, it's, like baby teeth poking through the gums, working their way through the gums. It's not perfect for developing teeth, but it's good enough. It works. Or menstruation, it's like, I guess you could say messy, but it's good enough. It works, flushes out the system. Growing hair in certain parts of our bodies, we don't really need it anymore, but it's a remnant, and it's a adaptation from being far more hairy when we were different animals. It's very much like that with life itself. When I say life, I mean the way we get through life in relation to society, in relation to ourselves. Very few of us are 100% professionals. Very few of us make all the right choices, give our 100% all the time, and even when we do give our 100%, do it in the areas that we can actually succeed. We get by. Human beings are like that. We get by. It's kind of a reflection of our evolution. If we make it, if we get by, even if it's not perfect, it's good enough. And there's a way society says is perfect way to live, or certain milestones in your life that you should have accomplished by the time you're a certain age. A lot of the standards, I see a lot of people beat themselves up over the standards that society has or their community has for them, or family, friends. But when we try to beat ourselves up over meeting those expectations, I think that we're denying the fact that we're human beings and we're just trying to get by. We're trying to make things work. We're not going to be able to do it all the time. Vast majority of the time, we're not going to be able to do it. But I mean, if we do good enough, if we try, I think that is very valuable. It counts for something. And studying human history, it seems like it's more valuable. We're more valuable as individuals if we study it and see how, people tried, most people did, for all of human history. There's a lot of terrible things that people have done, a lot of terrible both actions and incorrect realizations. And we can either get disheartened or see how most of us tried. Most of us honestly did good enough, and that's okay. It's like the great white shark. It might not have had to evolve because it, or kept on evolving after a certain point because it was good enough to survive, and enough of them were able to survive to keep on being great white sharks and keep on living, that they didn't have to evolve past a certain point. Human beings are a little bit different, and we have our peaks and our valleys in life. I'm 30, and strangely enough, I don't feel like I've passed my peak. Physically, mentally, anything like that. I think we all reach different peaks in our lives at different times, at different points. If we look at the lion, it's a peak predator for a good little section of its life. It's the king of the Sahara. younger lion deposes an older one. And, we can take down all kinds of prey. And the hyenas are always picking at the pieces that the alpha lion leaves behind. Eating the scraps. Hyenas, they're a pack. They can't take on a lion when it's at its prime for all those years. They pick at its pieces that it leaves behind of different animals that it kills. Hyenas, that hyena laugh, always laughing behind the lion. They're not really laughs per se, but it's a good analogy or a good thought. And they're always laughing for what they get. And eventually, when the lion becomes old and it no longer has a pride and it has to go off by itself because it's been deposed by another lion, eventually those laughing hyenas that always took the scraps, eventually they corner a tired and old lion. And those laughing hyenas that always took his scraps tear him apart. They eat him. Spend so much time eating all those scraps they left behind. Can't attack him, can't assail him. But then the lion finally gets old enough, alone enough, and he's torn apart by the same things that were always laughing in the distance, happy for his scraps. The lion has his peak. We all have our peaks. And while we might not be eaten by animals, I think that the idea of that laughter, perhaps there's a hyena part of us and a lion part of us. We should always laugh when we feel at the top. And in our laughs should always be the memory or the retrospection that those same laughs are what have to happen from us when we've passed our prime, or when we're at a low, or when we're not at the top of who we were. I think that these two animals can be different parts of ourselves. It can seem very morbid, but I don't think it has to be. I think that laughter in both lows and highs, in both waning or not quite there, and being there, the top. I think that the laughter within ourselves that's always behind everything should always give us perspective. We're weird. Human beings are weird. We have oddly different faces, kind of funny looking faces when you think about it, compared to the variations between other animals. And I know that we notice it more because we're human beings, but our faces vary, maybe not as widely as people think, but they vary more than other animals. And we've gotten here to a place where we can have personality, where we can be different. And it's not necessarily our faces that say this, but that's once again another good analogy or comparison, is that we've reached a point to where we can be remarkable as individuals. And sometimes when we take ourselves too seriously, that remarkable part of ourselves is not appreciated by us, which it always should be. No matter how, when you're a kid, when you're learning how to fit different shapes into, like, everybody's seen those, like, kind of like puzzle board, where you're trying to fit, you got to figure out if there's fit the square in the square, fit the peg in the peg, fit the triangle, pyramid into, I'm not using the right words, but into the correct shape. It's very basic, but when we become more complicated as we get older, or even when we became more complicated as a species, it's not always easy or possible to make ourselves into a shape that fits into society or into everything else. And that's okay. I think that these societal analogs and these standards or these expectations or these even hopes, sometimes our idea of what we are or our idea of the ways we can fit into society, into the rest of humanity, they don't always match up, but that's okay. That's okay. We may not get to a point where we're our best or accomplish everything we want to accomplish, but that's also okay. Let that hyena in the background in your head help you kind of make that okay. Be able to laugh at yourself and not take that little board with all the shapes as something that you have to fit yourself into. It's okay if you can't. You don't have to. And no matter what you want in life, it's going to change with your oncoming past meeting the present of your current reality. And you're going to find a way. It's not going to be the way that you wanted, but you're going to find a way to be. And just don't beat yourself too much up along the way. There's plenty of that within everybody, that we just always beat ourselves up because we can't figure out how to make everything work just like we want to. But very few people do. Most of the people that we hear about, that we know about, that many people know about anyway, have made it work, made themselves work in their situation. Not necessarily because they did it well, but because somehow their lives were under the spotlight for one reason or another. And a lot of it's happenstance, a lot of it's unpredictable, a lot of it's not something that's just them being successful. And that's why we know about them. There's a lot of chance in history. You don't have to be known. You don't have to be somebody else's man or woman or non-binary individual. If you can figure out a way to be you for you, that is wonderful. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very hard. For most of us, it is. I think my overall message is that don't beat yourself up too much. And we all have peaks and valleys. Be able to laugh at yourself. And understand that evolutionary history, what got us here, was just good enough to survive. Take pleasure in the little things. Take pleasure in the uniqueness of yourself. And all of you, have a wonderful day.